take 3. We're going to go into my book, and I want you guys to hear a little bit of something out of the book, and we'll do that right after these messages, and hopefully take 3 is good enough. Well, 3 is a family. Okay, so this book you can get on Amazon, Terrible Fishing Instruction Manual for Freshwater Fishing. I thought I'd read a few points out of this, which I think you guys will understand when I read it, why this is such a great book for the beginner. So we're going to go to the very first chapter, which is fishing rods. And so I'm just going to read from it. You guys make the determination whether you want to get one. You can email me and get a signed copy too if you want. So, fishing rods. This was probably my biggest fear when I started fishing. Walking into a fishing store, they would have hundreds of rods sticking up and creating a tunnel for you to walk through. You've all been there. Which, what, why? Oh my, way confusing. What if I told you there are really 2 categories most rods will fit in: spinning and casting rods? We should discuss the differences between these 2 very different techniques. So we go into, what makes a spinning rod, and a casting rod, really. It's that little trigger down there. But then I go into rod action. So this is really where you sort of separate the meat from the potatoes, which is another sore subject lately on me. Rod action. Action, what is it? When it comes to rods, they are rated in both action and power. This relates directly to the blank, or the actual rod, that it's made of. You must understand action before understanding power. And I give you a nice little chart in understanding this. As you can see on the diagram, the action is how much of the rod bends when you catch a fish. It is the bend that you are shopping for when looking at these ratings. A slow rod is like fishing with a wet noodle. Hard to keep a fish on the line with this action, thus you won't see many rods with this rating. Moderate is where the top 30% of the blank bends, and is a nice action for most. Fast is the top 25% of the rod bends and is my preferred bend in my rod. Probably didn't know that, did you? So we're going to go farther into the book. So that gives you sort of a hint on rods. Where should we go? Oh, look at this. Fishing line. Look at that. Look at that picture. It's a fishing line manufacturing facility. Oh. You think rods and reels can be bewildering? Line is by far the craziest. Each manufacturer promises you the world, or at least a catch. Strong and visible. Guarantees are abundant. So what are the choices in lines? First, there are ratings to understand. The most prominent number to understand is the pound rating of a line. This rating is a benchmark to help you know how much weight it will take to break the line. Strength of line is important depending on your skill level. Heavier lines can muscle in a big fish and work it through obstructions in the fishing area. Light line is more finesse, requiring more skill to work the catch. Lighter lines also cast farther than the heavier rated lines. Each has its place in your selection. So I go into all these different things, and I give you a really nice chart on what lines, the 3 different types of lines, which is mono, fluoro, and braid, and what their strengths and weaknesses are, which is really nice. I made that. And I wrote this. You also see, I skip forward, you also see in line advertisements if they are abrasion resistant. This is important since abrasions happen all the time underwater and through your guides. Line is always abused and must be tended to regularly. A knot in your line will create a weak spot. A snag will catch the weakened area of your line. You need to pay attention to these things. Cut out line or change it route regularly. I fish a lot and usually respool my rods once a month during the fishing season. Most people only must do it once a year. So that's that. And then I go into knot tying, my favorite knots. So here's a chapter on applying what we have learned so far. So I didn't go over all of it. To shop sensibly, you need to answer a few questions. Where will you be fishing? Number 1, lake. And I put down a suggestion right here. Lake, medium fast rods, bait casters, or spinning. River, usually a spinning rod, light, extra fast rods. Ocean, spinning rod or ocean caster with an extra heavy rod. Pond, same as lake. What kind of fish will you be fishing for? Bass. Prefer a bait caster for different techniques. Common rod is a medium heavy fast. Salmon. Spinning setup on a medium heavy fast rod. Panfish. Light setup, extra fast. BFS bait caster or spinning. Trout. A lot like panfish. So that would be a light setup, extra fast. Or BFS. Anything that will bite. That's your other option. Medium fast rod and a spinning reel. And then you have to ask yourself from shore or boat, kayak, things like that. Then I go into baits, all right? Lots of different things on baits. I give you a nice chart. I go into presentation and go into different tackle boxes that you can have and how to separate it. And then probably my favorite, understanding hooks. So here's all the different hooks you can buy in sizes and things like that. Well, this is very confusing, but I give you a really nice chart down at the bottom on what these hooks are used for. So you can pick a hook. So it's really a fun book. And then I scare you off the ice at the end when I go into ice fishing because I want you to be very, 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 very safe. But ice fishing is one of those things that you better be safe when it comes to ice fishing. So I kind of scare you off of it, but if you follow what I tell you, it's really, really good. I want you to click the link below or email me and I can send you a signed copy. So really cool, huh? Probably about $15, is for a signed copy. So just FYI. Because I got to ship it to you, right? Yeah. And that cost me like $5. But, But, put in the email, title, signed copy request. And I will get it, and I will get it to you. And I take payment on PayPal. So it's like $15 for a signed copy. But I want to thank you guys. I thought it'd be fun just to give you a little taste of what the book has. It's a very good book. And then, of course, I go into different fishing of freshwater fish, which is bass, trout, and panfish in it and how to catch them. But first things first, you got to understand your equipment and then go into a store and understand, the menagerie of it and sort through it because you don't always have a good salesman. I was in a Sportsman's Warehouse recently. There wasn't a fishing guy in there. And so I saw these people over there, and I went over to them and says, can I be of any assistance? I became a sales guy. And after making, conversational light and just joking with them, well, they're buying it for their 18-year-old kid, and the type of fishing that they do. And we got them set up with a very nice spinning outfit with really good line. So very important. Hooks and line are very, 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 very important. So, and that's why it's important to go through this book and understand hooks and line because it has a lot to do with it, catching a fish and landing it. So Anyway, I want you guys to take care. Tight lines to everybody. I'm going to post this and see all the criticisms down below. But email me or go to Amazon and check it out. Hit the link down below. Take care, everybody.